What's up, guys? Today I'm going to share with you 10 tips that will help you to read more books. Let's waste no time and get right into this with tip number 1. Silence your phone. Nothing slows me down like setting my book aside to check my messages or notifications. The best thing to do is silence your phone or turn it off while you read. You can also set rules for yourself, like only checking your phone after you finish a chapter or only checking it once every hour. It's hard to not check a message if we know one has come in, and it can be very distracting. By silencing your phone, you make it much easier to stay engaged with your book. Tip number 2. Don't be afraid to give up on a book. Some books just won't connect with you regardless of their reviews or recommendations, and the skill of abandoning books can be critical if you want to read more. Getting stuck in the middle of a book that you aren't into can be daunting, and they take more time because you're forcing yourself to read them. But abandoning a bad book puts you ahead by giving you more time to read great books that you'll actually enjoy. If you just don't like the book, put it down and start something else. Number 3. Mix things up. One way to stay ahead of the game with your reading is to prevent yourself from falling into a reading slump. If I'm consuming too much of the same kinds of content, a slump may be imminent. This can be prevented by changing the genres of what you consume. If you're getting stagnant reading novels, try a piece of nonfiction or try a book of short stories. If you are running out of gas reading fantasy, try a horror book or a classic. Getting a breath of literary fresh air can keep the ball rolling with your reading goals. Number 4, set a yearly challenge. It's much easier to read more books when you set a reading goal. With a goal in mind, you can stay motivated and make sure that you're staying on track. The Goodreads Reading Challenge is an excellent way to track your goal. It can tell you how you're doing and help you stay on schedule. But make sure the goal you set is attainable. It will only discourage you if you set a goal that you aren't able to reasonably reach. It's fun and inspiring to set goals for yourself and strive to meet them, and at the end of the year, you'll have a valuable record of everything you've read. 5. Join a group. Joining a reading group gives you a reason to sit down with your book. There is a specific deadline for finishing, so finding the time to read becomes more of a priority. While there are certainly times when life interferes and you may not be able to finish the book before your meeting, motivation comes from knowing that others are counting on your participation. It's productive to read with others and share what you've read, and it's a lot of fun. Number 6, create a distraction-free environment. This can be really helpful when it comes to starting your own reading ritual. Maybe it's your bedroom, or the basement, or even outside. If noise is a problem for you, there are apps that can help. I use one called Sleep Fan, and it runs the sound of a fan through my earbuds. Some people prefer the sound of a waterfall or classic music while they read. This cuts out noisy neighbors or the television in the next room and can be a big help. Number 7, prioritize. What competes for your reading time? Social media? Television? The brevity of life requires that we limit our priorities. Are you still waiting for time to read? You may need to stop doing something else. You can work this out by writing down a list of the things that take up your time. Then you can decide what to cut back on so that you can spend more time reading. Writing things down makes it easier to see the scope of what you have going on, and it can make all the difference in planning. 8. Set a daily goal. Keeping a daily track record of your reading habits is a regular way to make sure you are on schedule. You can start small if you want and then gradually increase it. You can set your goal at 20 minutes per day or 20 pages per day. Keep track of your daily goal with a reading journal or with an online app such as Reading Habit Tracker. This is a great way to stay in line with your reading objectives. Number 9, multitask with audiobooks. Audiobooks can be monumental when it comes to consuming more books. They are great because you can listen while you clean your room or drive your car, and you can find hours of extra reading time this way. For those of you who find it hard to concentrate on audiobooks, did you know that audio apps allow you to change the speed at which the narrator reads? This was huge for me because it's hard for me to follow along with someone who is reading too slowly. Also, full cast ensembles are the perfect choice for those times you really want to dive headfirst into a story. They utilize a cast of narrators accompanied by music and sound effects and craft a unique and immersive listening experience. And number 10, set aside specific times to read. Take time to ponder how reading can fit into the structure of your day. Maybe it's right after you wake up alongside a mug of coffee, my personal favorite, or sitting on a park bench at lunch. Think about how you're spending your day and how you can carve out a window of time to sit down with your book. This allows you to get into a routine. Even if you're just going to bed 20 minutes earlier each night to get an additional 20 minutes of reading in for the day, that's more than 2 hours per week and will amount to quite a few books in a year's time. Knowing that you have a special time set aside for yourself to read every day gives you something to look forward to, even when life gets busy, and that can make all the difference. And there you have it, 10 tips that will help you to read more books. Please like this video if you found it helpful. You know, guys, I love reading, and I'm always looking for a few extra minutes to get into a good book. In fact, I have one I have to get back to now. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.